May 18, 1998, Los Angeles. Elvira Chan steps off a plane. She has come from the Philippines to care for her father. She has no restaurant, no food truck, no commercial kitchen, no capital large enough to build any of those things. What she has is a stove, a few family recipes, and a bus pass. So Elvira begins cooking: pancit, egg rolls, adobo. She packs everything into lunch boxes, carries them onto public buses, and travels across Los Angeles selling meals to Filipino nurses working inside the city's hospitals. No permit, no advertising, no storefront. Just one immigrant woman feeding other immigrant women who are quietly helping keep Southern California's healthcare system alive. The lunch boxes became a sidewalk table. The sidewalk table became Dollar Hits, a Temple Street institution where customers now gather around communal charcoal grills, choosing from 33 varieties of skewers, while Elvira's sister Nalita calls out their hometowns over a microphone. Anaheim, Alhambra, Daly City, Hawaii, Europe. What began on a Los Angeles bus became a gathering place for a community arriving from across the world.
Tita was always happy and always entertaining us, singing and everything.
Thank you for coming! All of my friends are Philippines!
The main reason that brought us here is the memory of what we had in the Philippines over there.
Elvira's journey is extraordinary, but the system surrounding her is much larger. Roughly 600,000 people of Filipino descent live across Greater Los Angeles, the largest Filipino community anywhere outside the Philippines itself.
LA is home to the largest community of Filipinos outside of the Philippines.
It feels like home. Being here feels like home. It's the closest to home that I've felt.
Los Angeles County alone is home to more than 370,000 Filipino Americans, the highest of any county in the United States. They work in hospitals, schools, restaurants, recording studios, and research laboratories. They own bakeries in Panorama City, barbecue restaurants on Temple Street, and supermarkets in Eagle Rock. And every year, Filipino families in America send part of what they earn back across the Pacific. In 2025, cash remittances from the United States to the Philippines exceeded $14.1 billion. Money paying for school fees, medicine, groceries, and the daily survival of families thousands of miles away. Yet most Angelenos cannot point to the place where Filipino Los Angeles begins. Joe Bernardo, adjunct professor of Asian and Asian Pacific American Studies at Loyola Marymount University, explains the paradox.
When Filipino Americans come to the United States, they have a command of English that many other Asian immigrants don't. And so Filipinos are more dispersed. So then visibly in the built environment, it doesn't look like Filipinos exist in a certain neighborhood. If they do have an establishment here, the signs are in English. So it kind of blends into the whole environment.
Invisible by design, because of colonization. Because the Philippines was an American territory for nearly 50 years, its people arrived already speaking the language of the country they were entering. They blended in. And blending in, it turns out, can become another form of erasure. But look more closely. A Filipino immigrant named Larry Itliong led 1,500 farm workers out of the Delano grape fields before Cesar Chavez joined the strike. Filipino-American DJs, DJ Babu, Rhett Maddock, D Styles, DJ Qbert, Mixmaster Mike, helped revolutionize American turntablism. A young artist named Eliseo Art Silva painted the largest Filipino-American mural in the country when he was 22.
That is a big mural.
4,000 years of history is documented in this mural.
Filipino nurses became indispensable inside Southern California hospitals, and some paid with their lives during COVID-19. And in a garage in Los Angeles, an immigrant from Lucena City named Lord Maynard Yera began cooking the regional food of his childhood before winning the James Beard Award for Best Chef in California. Different people, different professions, the same pattern. Build something essential, watch someone else receive the credit, then build again. Florante Ibanez, who devoted his life to preserving Filipino-American history and donated a 25-box personal archive to Cal State Dominguez Hills, understood why that pattern continued.
I think the whole point here is that we have to tell our own stories because the mainstream media and what's in mainstream archives don't really tell our stories.
The Filipino word laban means to fight, to struggle, to resist. But in Los Angeles, it has also meant something else, to rebuild. This is the story of how 600,000 Filipinos became one of the foundations of Los Angeles while remaining one of its least visible communities. Tonight, we travel from the vanished streets of Little Manila to the grape fields of Delano, from the hospital wards of Los Angeles to the supermarket aisles of Eagle Rock, the charcoal grills of Temple Street, and the garage kitchen that produced a James Beard winner, to discover how 600,000 Filipinos quietly became one of the foundations of Los Angeles while remaining one of its least visible communities. This is the human map. Because when people move, the map moves with them, even when the signs are in English and nobody notices. Subscribe and explore the communities, cultures, and hidden networks quietly reshaping the world. Long before there was a historic Filipino town, there was another Filipino neighborhood, one almost nobody remembers today: Little Manila. The first large modern wave of Filipinos arrived in 1923, mostly young men, the Manongs, coming to work and study. Within a decade, they had built a community in the downtown core around 1st and Main Street, in what is now Little Tokyo. 12 restaurants, 7 barbershops, the Philippines Review newspaper, the Manila Portrait Studio, the Filipino Recreation Hall on South Main, a complete community built on land the city had largely abandoned. Linda España Maram, the academic who has spent years recovering this history, describes what Little Manila was at its peak.
Little Manila existed only for about 20 years. It started forming right around the early 1920s. It was a cultural hub specifically for young, single, heterosexual men, because they made up the larger portion of immigration. If you look at the establishments in Little Manila at the time, you have pool halls, you have gyms, and taxi dance halls.
In 1945, the Filipino-American Community of Los Angeles, FACLA, was founded, the oldest active Filipino-American nonprofit in the United States. But Little Manila's future was already closing. Urban renewal, freeways, redevelopment projects. The community relocated to the Temple Beverly corridor northwest of downtown, buying homes only after the 1950s, the first decade in which Filipinos could legally purchase property in Los Angeles. The Manongs built something. The city demolished it. The community rebuilt in a new location without being asked to and without being thanked for it. The second battle unfolded 200 miles north, Delano, California, September 8, 1965. Before Cesar Chavez became the public face of the farm worker movement, it was Larry Itliong who walked into the grape fields and called more than 1,500 Filipino farm workers to strike. Aquilina Soriano Versosa, executive director of the Filipino Workers Center, a figure painted directly into the Hi-Fi mural driving the neighborhood's restored 1944 jeepney, describes the specific decision that changed American labor history.
The Filipino manong said, you know what, this is a time we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. So they went out, they struck. The Mexican farm workers saw that and like, we can't let our brothers actually go through this. So they then came together and decided to join the strike. So the two big figures in the middle are Philip Vera Cruz and Larry Itliong. They were farm workers, but then became leaders in the farm worker movement.
Chavez joined 2 weeks later. The 5-year strike produced collective bargaining agreements for thousands of workers and made Chavez an international icon. Itliong died in 1977 of ALS, largely forgotten. His son, Johnny, was 11 years old when his father died. He has spent his whole life saying, "My father started this." The third battle was not over neighborhoods or labor. It was over a promise. More than 250,000 Filipino soldiers fought under the American flag during World War II, through Bataan, Corregidor, the entire Pacific Theater. Congress passed the Rescission Act of 1946 and stripped them of their promised veterans' benefits. Versosa states it with the precision of someone who has been repeating it for decades, because it still has not been fully heard.
They fought side by side with the American forces in the Philippines. Then, even though the war was over, they had a fight for equal rights and equity, for the rights that were promised originally, but then were, through the Rescission Act, denied those rights. The only country denied, just to Filipinos.
In historic Filipino town today, the Valor Monument, 5 slabs of polished black granite, honors those veterans. The inscription, in the words of Faustino Baclig, a survivor of the Bataan Death March, "Bataan was not our last battlefield. We are still fighting for equity." 3 erasures, 3 rebuilds, and running through all of them, one man's quiet observation that most Americans never connected to the Philippines. In the 1920s, a Filipino immigrant named Pedro Flores redesigned the yo-yo, adding an axle loop that made tricks possible, and built a small empire of factories in Los Angeles, producing 30,000 units in a single month. Florante Ibanez, who spent decades preserving Filipino-American history, describes what happened next.
He moved down to LA and then he actually opened up 2 places in Los Angeles. I had 3 factories going all at once, and he did like 30,000 yo-yos in 1 month. $50,000 is what Duncan paid Pedro Flores. That's pretty amazing for a Filipino immigrant during the Depression.
Yeah. Millions of Americans grew up playing a Filipino invention. Almost none of them knew it. The same pattern that erased Little Manila, that credited someone else with Larry Itliong's strike, that denied veterans their benefits, it also erased the Filipino immigrant who taught America how to play. The community displaced from Little Manila did not disappear. It changed shape. Unlike Chinatown or Koreatown, Filipino Los Angeles never rebuilt itself inside one dense neighborhood. It spread to Eagle Rock, Carson, Cerritos, West Covina, Panorama City, Long Beach, Glendale, the San Gabriel Valley. The community became suburban. Its landmarks were not old brick buildings gathered around one intersection. They were supermarkets, churches, medical centers, family restaurants, bakeries, shopping plazas. No place captures that better than the Eagle Rock Plaza on Eagle Rock Boulevard. On the surface, it looks like a mall, Macy's at one end, Target at the other. But the entire lower level is Filipino. Seafood City, Jollibee, Goldilocks Bake Shop, Crispy Town, Valerio's. In 2006, Seafood City opened here. Now, 38+ locations across North America, the largest Filipino supermarket chain in the country. A longtime Eagle Rock community member named Josette describes her relationship with it in terms no grocery store usually earns.
I don't miss a week without going to Seafood City. Even if I don't buy anything, I just want to be there.
She is describing what the channel has documented in every episode. Not a shop, but a community anchor. The place where you hear your language, see your neighbors, confirm once a week that you are not alone in this city. In November 2025, Seafood City Eagle Rock turned its grocery aisles into a dance floor for late-night madness, the traveling pop-up party that had gone viral.
Seafood City is the biggest Filipino grocery chain in Northern California, and in late July, the company opened up shop in Daly City. And on some weekends, it also hosts one of the biggest parties in town.
By 9 p.m., the mall was packed. Wall-to-wall Filipinos of every age, titas in wedges, lolos clapping on the beat, teenagers filming everything. DJ Noodles and rapper Pilo performed. DJ Babu and DJ Retmatic of the Beat Junkies took the stage. College students performed tinikling in the produce aisle. A first-generation Filipino-American named Andrea Adoria from Pasadena was there with her mother. She described what the night gave her.
Growing up as a child of immigrants, I was kind of self-conscious about displaying too much of my culture. So it kind of fed my inner child to see so many people celebrating this shared culture and experience that we each grew up with.
The Beat Junkies deserve their own paragraph. DJ Babu, D Styles, DJ Retmatic from Los Angeles, DJ Qbert, Mixmaster Mike, DJ Apollo from the Bay. Filipino Americans are to turntablism what East Africans are to distance running, a statistically small community that produced a disproportionate share of the art form's greatest practitioners. DJ Babu said in the documentary Scratch what every Filipino American kid in Eagle Rock understood. Outside of our parents, DJ Qbert was the only Filipino role model we had. So they made their own from a pair of Technics turntables. The music that came out of those bedrooms shaped American hip-hop in ways that are everywhere now and attributed to almost nobody Filipino. The suburban community had no official neighborhood name, no arch, no freeway exit sign. What it had was Seafood City, Jollibee, the Beat Junkies, Radio Manila on the AM dial, and 600,000 people building a community between supermarket aisles and Saturday morning parking lots. The Filipino neighborhood was never in one place. That was always the point. And when the city finally looked for it, it looked in the wrong direction. The neighborhood was everywhere. It was just easy to miss, because the signs were in English, because colonization had made them fluent, because blending in had become the community's first survival strategy. There was one part of Los Angeles, however, where the community refused to blend in any longer. Justin Ferranda grew up in historic Filipino town. As a child, he visited Chinatown and Little Tokyo and felt the specific legibility of neighborhoods that know what they are. Arches, street signs, clearly defined borders, visible identity. He came home to Hi-Fi and asked the question he carried into adulthood. Being really young and visiting all these different ethnic enclaves, I thought, man, this is really cool. But then, when I would get home, I'd be like, how come I don't know where and when Filipino town starts and ends? He became a restaurateur and answered his own question. He opened Hi-Fi Kitchen on Temple Street. Rice bowls, a 90s hip-hop theme, VHS tapes and boom boxes on the walls. A menu that repackages Filipino flavors into a made-to-order format for the contemporary LA diner. Beef tapa, lechon kawali, kalabasa ginataang. The neighborhood's identity distilled into a fast casual bowl. But before Justin Ferranda opened his restaurant, Elvira Chan was already on Temple Street. From the unpermitted lunchbox operation on the bus, Elvira had built outward. In 2013, Dollar Hits opened on Temple Street. The concept? 33 varieties of skewers, par-cooked inside, finished by customers themselves on communal charcoal grills set up on the sidewalk. Pork intestines, chicken hearts, Esau, Kwek-Kwek, Betamax, Walkman. A Manila night market transplanted into a Los Angeles parking lot, complete with smoke, noise, and the specific smell of caramelized pork fat over open charcoal. The business runs as a family cooperative.
Elvira Chan is the financer, and my sister too is the one who's handling the money, and I am the cook.
Elvira is the executive financier. Her sister Nelita runs the front, shouting customer hometowns over the microphone, turning a street food operation into a living community broadcast. Her sister Joyce handles cash. Her brother manages the charcoal. The operation is communal. Bayanihan, the Filipino tradition of neighbors helping neighbors, expressed through food rather than words. Social media did the rest. People come now from Anaheim, from Hawaii, from Europe, for skewers that cost $1.50 each, par-cooked in a kitchen off Temple Street by a family that arrived with nothing and built something irreplaceable. Around the same block, Thunderbolt Bar, a James Beard-recognized semi-finalist, winner of the 2025 Kettle One Sustainable Bar Award. Its signature cocktail is the P-Town Boxing Club, coconut-washed rye, bitters, pandan, a premium old-fashioned named explicitly for this neighborhood, in a room that smells of Southeast Asian botanicals. And between them, Park's finest, the Concordia family's Filipino barbecue institution, founded 2009 with mentorship from SIPA, Search to Involve Filipino Americans. The owner described the Temple Beverly corridor of the 1990s and 2000s. Youth violence, economic marginalization, the Rampart police scandal. The restaurant was built partly as community defense, food as a way to keep neighborhood youth off the streets and out of the cycles that were consuming their peers. Their motto? 50% mom, 50% pop, 100% LA. On the wall, watching over all of it, the mural. Gintong Kasaysayan, Gintong Pamana, Golden History, Golden Legacy. Painted in 1995 by Eliseo Art Silva when he was 22 years old. 145 feet wide, 25 feet tall. The largest Filipino-American mural in the United States. Larry Itliong is on it. Lapu-Lapu is on it. Aquilina Soriano Versosa drives the jeepney. And in 2022, after nearly 20 years of community advocacy, the Eastern Gateway Arch went up across Beverly Boulevard. Talang Gabay, our guiding star, 82 feet wide, a hibiscus flower at the peak, symbolizing healing. The Hi-Fi Gateway project had been nearly 2 decades in the making. As one of its advocates described the moment of completion, it is a monument not just for the Filipino and Asian community, but for all immigrant communities who come to Los Angeles to build a life and a home.
Today we are at the big unveiling for the historic Filipino town, Eastern Gateway, and I'm so proud to be here.
This landmark gateway is part of a vision which started 20 years ago.
Mike, co-host of This Filipino American Life, put the neighborhood's identity in one sentence that captures what no single arch or street sign can fully express.
A community isn't just a community. A community is like interlaced with all the other communities around it. So that's the LA story, right?
The Filipino community in Los Angeles became one of the indispensable pillars of Southern California's healthcare system. And for decades, that contribution remained largely invisible. Nearly 18% of California's registered nurses are Filipino. In Los Angeles, the concentration is even higher. Elvira Chan knew exactly where to take her lunchboxes because Filipino nurses were everywhere. Inside Cedars-Sinai, Kaiser Permanente, Hollywood Presbyterian, Providence St. John's, and hospitals across Southern California. They worked through the AIDS epidemic. They worked through every crisis the city produced. Then came COVID-19. Celia Marcos was 61 years old, a nurse at Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center. On April 17, 2020, 2 days after her diagnosis, she died of COVID-19. Her coworkers said she had not been given adequate protective equipment. They held a vigil outside the hospital. Her family planned to return her ashes to the Philippines. She was not the only one. Across the country, Filipino healthcare workers became one of the communities hit hardest during the first months of the pandemic. The profession that had opened doors for generations of immigrants suddenly carried extraordinary risk. But the story of Filipino Los Angeles cannot be told only through hospitals. It must also include the struggles many young Filipino Americans faced growing up in neighborhoods where belonging often had to be defended. In the early 1970s, groups of Filipino teenagers from Anaheim, Eagle Rock, and Delano gathered around a shared love of cars, especially customized Volkswagen Beetles. They called themselves a barkada, a close-knit circle of friends built on loyalty and mutual support. At first, they were not gangs, but repeated attacks from established neighborhood gangs pushed many of those young Filipinos to organize for protection. Out of that environment emerged Satanas, STS, the oldest Filipino-American street gang in Los Angeles County. Violence escalated through the late 1970s and 1980s before police pressure, changing neighborhoods, and a new generation gradually shifted the culture in another direction. The barkada spirit did not disappear. It evolved into import car clubs, dance crews, DJ collectives, community festivals, events like Late Night Madness and Barrio Hi-Fi, where thousands now gather to celebrate Filipino culture instead of defend it. As Professor James Sobredo Poligutan explains, these stories cannot be separated from the structural barriers Filipino Americans faced for decades. Despite earning university degrees, many found themselves excluded from professional opportunities, home ownership, and leadership positions. Healthcare, agriculture, and service industries became the paths that remained open, while breaking beyond them often required extraordinary determination. The nurses, the barkadas, the farm workers, the DJs, the lunchbox seller, the mural painter. They are not separate stories. They are one community adapting to the same city in different ways. Different generations, different challenges, the same determination. And perhaps no one embodies that determination better than a quiet young man from Lucena City who arrived in Los Angeles with little more than his cooking and eventually convinced one of the world's toughest culinary institutions that Filipino cuisine deserved a place at the very top. Before Kuya Lord was on the LA Times 101 Best Restaurants list at number 48, before the James Beard Award, before the line out the door, before the food journalists and the Instagram posts, Chef Lord Maynard Lara was cooking in his garage. He grew up in Lucena City in Quezon Province, a laid-back provincial life surrounded by rice fields and coconut trees. He describes his younger self with disarming honesty. He was a happy-go-lucky guy who did not feel a strong pressure to work. The realization that made him leave was about his children.
I thought to myself, like, how can I, teach my kids how to live on their own if me, myself, don't know how to clean my own room or like fix my own car.
He came to Los Angeles. He needed income. He needed a laboratory. His garage became both. He started cooking regional dishes from Lucena and the southern Tagalog region, wood-fired, maintaining temperatures between 500 and 600 degrees Fahrenheit to replicate the flavor profiles he had grown up with. He tested dishes informally, watching how people responded, adjusting without the financial risk of a commercial lease. Word spread. The Infatuation reviewed him. The LA Times reviewed him. He was booked out 2 months in advance before he had a brick-and-mortar space. He opened Kuya Lord. His explicit culinary mission was direct. I want to prove the distinct, standalone legitimacy of Filipino cuisine. In culinary school, he had been taught that Filipino food was a passive melting pot, a derivative cuisine that absorbed the influences of its colonial occupiers without a distinct identity. He built his restaurant as a counter-argument. His Lucena-chan, the regional pork belly specific to Lucena City, the skin shattered glass crisp. His laing with Japanese bonito flakes. His pancit chami, the regional noodle of Lucena, sitting between Japanese udon and Chinese stir-fry. Dishes that are specifically, irreducibly Filipino. In 2024, Chef Lord Maynard Lara won the James Beard Award for Best Chef in California, the first Filipino-American to win the award. The boy from the garage in Lucena City, testing food from a home kitchen in Los Angeles, had reached the top of the American culinary establishment. When immigrant diners tell him the food reminds them of home, he says it fulfills the core purpose of everything he built.
Obviously, every Filipinos who comes here, hearing them like, oh, it reminds me of home, that gives me like, it is like heartfelt, like thank you, that's because that's my goal. Like being far away for so long that you longing where you came from. That's the reason why I'm doing it.
He is not the only one. Mark Wiens, the global food journalist who spent time eating his way through the Filipino LA food scene, captured what makes it specific to this city.
Like I was mentioning to you, one of the great things about LA is just the fact that elsewhere in America, you would find an ethnic cuisine with the same 15 dishes over and over again. You come to LA, you find like specific dishes.
Regional food.
Regional food, exactly.
The density of the community made the specificity possible. 600,000 people means you can sustain a restaurant that specializes in one regional noodle from one province of the Philippines. Around Kuya Lord, an entire ecosystem has formed. Sasa near Hi-Fi serves modern Filipino fine dining. A Filipino bucatini with house-made pasta, a ribeye salpicao, a calamansi ube sour, an ube cheesecake. Spoon and Pork on Sunset Boulevard appears in the global Michelin Guide. Pork belly nigiri served on sushi rice. Adobo hot wings eaten Kamayan style with bare hands. Sunnyside, the food journalist who has eaten across the world, described something specific about the Filipino food ecosystem in Los Angeles.
It's really difficult for them to get approval for the FDA to say like, okay, you can collect blood in this way and we'll consider it hygienic. The point is, it's really hard for them to collect these type of more odd or unusual cuts in the US just because of all the laws around health and hygiene.
Yep.
The compliance and ingenuity required just to serve traditional Filipino food in America, to keep Isa and Dinuguan and Betamax legally alive, is an invisible form of laban that never makes a restaurant review. Elvira Chan fights it every night on Temple Street. Jojo, the owner of Chiboku's in Hi-Fi, fights it by boiling his pork for 4 hours before deep frying it. The food is not separate from the community's broader story. It is the same story, expressed through heat and salt and the specific flavors that carry a generation's memory across an ocean. As evening falls over historic Filipino town, the charcoal grills at Dollar Hits begin to glow. Nalita Chan stands at the microphone, calling out customers' hometowns.
I love Tito's always happy and always entertaining us.
Families gather around the communal grills. Smoke rises into the Los Angeles sky. Conversations drift effortlessly between English and Tagalog. A few blocks away, Park's Finest serves another table. Thunderbolt pours another P-Town boxing club. Somewhere in West Hollywood, Chef Lord's wood fire is already burning. In Eagle Rock, another family fills a shopping cart at Seafood City before stopping for Jollibee on the way home. On the wall above Temple Street, the 145-foot mural watches over it all. Under the Talangabay Arch, children run beneath a symbol that took nearly 20 years for the community to build. Perhaps that is the story of Filipino Los Angeles. Not a community that waited to be recognized, a community that kept building anyway. Laban, fight, struggle, resist, rebuild, begin again. More than 600,000 Filipinos now call Greater Los Angeles home. Many arrived with little more than a suitcase, a profession, a recipe, or a dream. Together, they quietly helped build one of America's greatest cities. What surprised you most about the Filipino-American story? And what other overlooked communities have helped build your city? Let us know in the comments. This is the human map, because when people move, the map moves with them. Sometimes, the map has been there all along. Subscribe and explore the communities, cultures, and hidden networks quietly reshaping the world.